Aztecs back in the top 25. Got Air Force on Saturday. We welcome you to another edition of the Aztecs Power Hour inside the world of sports. 8:03 the time on XTRA Sports 1360. Chris Ello and Ben Higgins with you. And we got a busy hour coming up. Chris, Chelsea Hopkins, star of the SDSU women's team that you call games for, will be with us in about 20 minutes. Bob Toledo, the new offensive coordinator for Rocky Long's football team, at the bottom of the hour. But right now, we're joined by the athletic director at San Diego State. Jim Sterk is on the program.
Batting Chris, in the leadoff position.
To me, Jim Sterk is like a quarterback of an NFL team who got the perfect play called to go to the Big East, and then he saw a defense out there that just he didn't like and had to call an audible and went with the best play available out there, and that was to get his teams back to the Mountain West. Jim, do you just kind of see it that way, that you just had to go with the best choices that were available at the time?
That's, as I look back on it for the last 13 months, 15 months probably, but, it's pretty much like that. I think, it was the best decision when we made it. Boise was leaving the league. Utah, BYU, TCU had just left the league, and we felt like the Mountain West was really starting to crumble, and so then we made the move, and then all the changes across the country really impacted, that decision. And then the last one, probably the biggest one, was the Big Ten taking Rutgers and Maryland, which caused the ACC to grab Louisville. And so then Rutgers and Louisville were leaving, and that was kind of the final blow that really weakened the Big East, and we felt like it was best to be in the Mountain West. And since we had left, they renegotiated their CBS deal so that they're getting close now to signing a second-tier national platform that'll really help the league, I think, overall, and give it more exposure, which it desperately needs, because a lot of the teams are doing great, and across the country you can't always get a Mountain West game, and so that had changed. And then with the addition of San Jose and Utah State, you could have a football playoff, a championship game. And so I think all those things, and the way the men's basketball has performed, that was obviously a draw too. So just to stay in there. So all the factors, all the things going on, all the changes, and it was best to be back in the Mountain West.
I think everybody appreciates the fact that you gave it everything you possibly could to get into the Big East and then try and get the Aztecs in a more high-profile situation. But I agree with what Ben said, and kind of what you realize is that staying in the Mountain West Conference, that's really actually the more high-profile situation now as the landscape has changed. Yeah,
and our TV consultant that really, was an advocate for the Big East and felt it was best 13 months ago. Really felt that maybe the brand was stronger, the Mountain West was going to be stronger, and so I think that helps too. And it's all about trying to build our programs, be the best we can be. And last year we had a great year in the Mountain West during 2012 and had 9 championships, and so we want to continue that in 2013. And I'm excited. We're on weekly calls with the ADs about a number of things, and I think people will like it as we move forward.
I know what was expected to be a pretty nice windfall financially for the Aztecs with the new Big East contract, that's not going to happen. So where do you stand right now? I mean, how bad is it, Jim, in terms of the funding that you're going to have to make up for that you're not getting, you were expecting to get?
Well, it was kind of funny, as people were speculating, especially when we first moved into it. There were all kinds of, people across the campus as the campus is getting cut that, this would be a great thing for, the extra money that you have. And I kept saying, we don't have that money yet. And so I'm glad we didn't spend it. That's the good thing. And we didn't have other people spending it. And, really, I think with the championship playoff, and what's going on, I think we have an opportunity to not go backwards, and that's the biggest thing that I'm pushing for, that we continue to build our programs, and we do that with garnering as much conference revenue as we can, but then also with everything that we're doing with our programs, that we maximize our opportunity with donations, and we we obviously have scholarship support needs, and then with special programming, we need facility. We have facility needs, and then overall with our season tickets and individual game tickets. So we've really done comparisons, and really San Diego State basketball is a great buy, and we want it to continue to be a great buy. And so we're not going to increase hugely, but we're going to have to make increases, kind of across the board to help us. And I think people are willing to do that. I've heard from a lot of people, and we've had a little focus groups that, really feel like, yeah, we know we've been getting a great deal, so we'll help you here. So that's what we're hoping for, and we want to continue to grow the support.
Jim Sterk, Athletic Director at San Diego State, kicking off our Aztec Power Hour on this Tuesday at 8:09. Chris and Ben program on Extra Sports 1360. Jim, do you feel like the relationship with Boise State, you guys doing all you could to help get them into the Big West, and then when they returned out of the Big East to the Mountain West Conference, they kind of set the stage for you guys to return to the Mountain West Conference? That relationship between you and Boise State, you guys are really linked together now, and it seems like you guys have both kind of helped each other out.
Yeah, it's been positive, and I would have. It was really it was interesting conversations. I think every day except Christmas Day we were talking over the holidays and finding out what they're doing, and then when they ultimately made the decision and put in their term sheet that that the Mountain West needed to talk to us, and not that they wouldn't have, but they made it a point to do that, and we really appreciated that, and we had kind of done the same thing with the Big West, and so it all worked out, and we're excited. They're going to be great competitors. They're coming in here, I think, next.
Jim, breaking up there a little bit. Jim Sterk, the athletic director of San Diego State, is with us here on Extra Sports 1360. If we get Jim back here, Herm, I want to ask Jim about whether there was any resistance. Jim, we get you back here.
Okay.
Was there any opposition to the Aztecs returning to the Mountain West from other institutions? I kind of described it as being the supermodel that dumped you, but then wanted to get back together. You might feel bad for a minute, but then you look at her and you say, well, that's a pretty nice thing to have. I guess I'll take you back. Was there any other schools that gave you trouble about getting back in the conference?
Not really, and hopefully you can hear me, but not really. It was, there was a lot of discussion in how we came back, whether we would receive revenue, the revenue share from this year, and things like that. But there was no question that everyone felt the league was better, San Diego State was better being in the Mountain West, and so I think overall it was positive, and no one gave us too much of a hard time.
Jim, what do you think about the basketball situation with the Mountain West Conference only having two teams ranked right now? I know Steve Alford of New Mexico was kind of talking about that a little earlier last week, about the fact that this is the second best conference in the country, not getting the kind of respect perhaps it deserves.
And I think that's something moving forward with that secondary TV deal, getting more games on a national platform will help the programs and help the league with exposure-wise, because they need to see, and people don't really realize how tough it is to travel in the Mountain West. You do, but going to Wyoming and playing at 7,200 feet, and then the Pit at 5,000 feet, and then to Colorado State and Air Force, and it's really, really difficult, and it's and then especially when they're really good, and so it makes going through the league just a bear. And heading into the league season, we were, I think, the second or third RPI league in the country, and had great wins, national wins, and so I think we just hopefully at the end of the day that people the body of work that all the teams have done will pay off, and we'll have 4, 5, 6 teams into the NCAA tournament.
San Diego State Athletic Director Jim Sterk is our guest here on the Aztecs Power Hour on Extra Sports 1360. Now that the conference situation appears to be settled, Jim, what's the next big project for the athletic department on the horizon? I mean, what are you looking at on your list of things to get done here in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, we obviously need to increase our scholarship support, and that's continuing to go up and increase, but as well as the expenses. But then probably on the basketball side, we have drawings of a basketball practice facility. That's very important for us. We want to continue work with the city on the stadium, and those are obviously in the forefront, and overall, just continuing to build in each of our programs. Last year we put soccer lights up, and the women's soccer made it pay off by going to the Sweet 16. I think those things, we fixed up Peterson Gym, and Deetra and her staff and players ended up with a co-championship in volleyball. There's a direct correlation with facilities and success, and so we want to continue to build in each of our programs.
How about the job that Rocky Long did? I mean, replacing offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig, getting Bob Toledo to come into the program. It just seems like you guys at San Diego State right now have had kind of the good touch, and all of the hires that you're making, it just seems like everyone's better than the one before it, Jim.
It's Bob Toledo is just a great coach, and Rocky, when I was hiring him as the head coach, I said, who do you want as your offensive coordinator? And he said, well, there's a guy, I'm not sure I can get him, but I'd really like to get him. And at that time, Toledo jilted him at the altar a little bit, and he had a head coaching job at the time, so I can understand that. But this time around, he was ready and ready to come. And I think Bob's wife, you'll have to ask him, how he got permission to coach again, and it was only with Rocky. I think that was the condition. So, quality people. I think our offense will be in great shape under his leadership, and Andy did a great job, and we wish him well. But we're excited to have Bob with that program.
Can't hurt coming to San Diego either. When you tell the wife we're gonna have to live in San Diego, that's not a conversation that is that difficult to actually have.
No, that's true.
Jim, I really appreciate you joining us this morning on the Power Hour, and good luck. We'll catch up with you again soon.
Yeah, you got a great lineup this morning. I look forward to listening to you.
Thanks.